as Kevin Durant joined the Rockets in a Sunday blockbuster that sent breakout star Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, and the number 10 overall pick to Phoenix. Durant, an undoubted future Hall of Famer, averaged 26.6 points per game last season, but struggled to get the Suns going, finishing 11th in the West, ultimately missing the playoffs. Now, earlier this morning, Chris Canty took issue with you mentioning KD as a top 10 player, Stephen A.
Somebody need to drug test Stephen A. Smith with that take. Stay off the weed, Stephen A. Stay off of it. You've been hanging around Mad Dog too long, dog. Maybe he might have slipped you one of those gummies. Whatever it is, stay off of it, dog. Kevin Durant as a top 10 player, you're out of your mind. I'm going to use a word that you like, asinine. It's asinine to say that KD is a top 10 player all time.
Well, what would you like to say for yourself?
Well, first of all, I think that Chris Canty does an outstanding job.
And their new studio looks great.
Radio. Their new studio, I haven't seen the studio.
Yeah,
I saw his big ass. I didn't see, he's blocking most of it. You know what I'm saying? That's a massive dude right there. He knows I love him. He knows I love him. He does an outstanding job. And he does an outstanding job because he irritates people 6 o'clock in the morning. It's unbelievable. I got to give him credit where credit is due. But having said all of that, I will say simply this. You want to sit up there and you want to bring up some of the all-time greats, the Kareems, the Russells, the Wilt Chamberlains, and others. You want to talk about Magic. You want to talk about, of course, I got Jordan, the greatest of all time. I got LeBron, number 2 all time. I got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, number 3 all time. I would simply ask basketball followers out there, I'm not talking resume, I'm talking talent. Tell me 10 players in NBA history that were better than Kevin Durant. I'm talking about as a basketball, just eyeball test. I'm talking about 7 feet with a 7'6" wingspan that can handle the rock like that can shoot the rock like that can finish in open court like that could be close to a 50, 40, 90 player consistently, that is better after an Achilles tear in his 30s than he was in his 20s when he was averaging 27 a game then. I'm saying we watch the NBA. We've seen it. We've seen Dr. J. We've seen David Thompson. We've seen, listen, I remember downtown Freddie Brown and Dennis Johnson and all of those boys. I remember McHale. I remember Parrish. I remember Ainge. I remember Isaiah. I remember Joe Dumars. I remember all of these cats, okay? I got you. I remember Mark Aguirre in Dallas, okay, the former number 1 overall. I remember Ralph Sampson and Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. I remember all of them. I'm challenging anybody out there to tell me that you could find 10 players in the history of basketball as talent. I'm not talking resume, because as LeBron so eloquently educated all of us, it takes a team. It takes a team to win. We can't look at individuals. We have to take a team, okay? We got it. As an individual talent, tell me 10 players in the history of the NBA that you can definitively look at and say, that brother better than Kevin Durant. Take your time, I'll wait. Take your time.
He's the best pure scorer I've ever personally seen. I never saw George Gervin.
I did. He won Kevin Durant. And I love the Figaro.
I did see Michael Jordan. His technically and his ability to jump and dunk was amazing. The best pure scorer I've ever seen. I don't know about ranking. I don't feel like it, frankly. I don't feel like it. I can just say he's the best pure scorer. And here's the other thing. I have spent time at the Olympics covering him. He's the greatest Olympian we've ever had.
And I think that's relevant. I mean,
I think it's relevant, you know.
Well, I think people should think it's relevant.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you just walk into all those games and win. He's been instrumental, right? And I love guys that play for the country because it's no money. You don't get anything extra.
Exhausting.
It takes your summer for a guy that plays all the time. I think you know, look, I agree. On talent, yeah, I don't know.
That's all I was talking about.
But also, you could make a resume argument. I mean, people forget, he was 2-time MVP of the finals. You look at the top 10 list and you go, oh, this guy's good. Not a lot of guys are multiple MVP of the NBA Finals with rings. And then you add, 8th in the league in scoring all time. Not a bad resume as well. You're just talking about talent, but if you want to go the resume route, you know what's interesting? I always wonder what players think. And I think even if you ask some of the greats, they would admit, yeah, Durant's, yeah, he's legit. They would say it. Like even these guys that are in the so-called, I don't know what the top 10 is, those guys would say, yeah, I got it. Durant's.
Check this out. Check this out. I'm not ranking anybody. I'm just going to be bold enough to call it like I see it. Charles Barkley was phenomenal. He had that kind of offensive talent. Clyde Drexler, he's a champion. Come on now. Not even the same class as Kevin Durant. Stop that now. Karl Malone was one of the top 2 scorers in the history of basketball, okay? He wasn't on Kevin Durant's level. Matter of fact, you got some people that look at Tim Duncan as a better power forward. Some people look at Kevin McHale, 10 feet and in, money, okay? I mean, the list goes on and on of people that we could point to. You can't find me 10 players in NBA history that you can say were better as talent than Kevin Durant. You cannot do that.
Well, and we always talk about people talk about Curry and Magic and the point guards. I think why we talk about those guys is they both changed the game because they broke the mold. Nobody did what Curry does before he did it. Nobody did what Magic does. And I put Kevin Durant in the same category. We never saw a 7'2" guard before. We still haven't seen another one. I mean, I don't know who the next guy. So I look at these guys and I put them in a different category because they have never made someone like him before him, and I don't know that they will have one after him.
And he has a chance to elevate his resume because he's in a great position now getting traded to Houston. So if he's able to win a title there, do you think he finally silences all the critics that have been upset with the moves to the Warriors and how it didn't pan out in Brooklyn?
That would even silence the guy to my left. That is hard. It would have to.
No question about it. But what I'm saying to you is this. Even with my cynicism, my skepticism about him, I still never failed to recognize the obvious greatness. When I was disgusted at his move, which at the time I called the weakest, everybody forgot I said by a superstar in history. I'm acknowledging you were a superstar, and I'm telling the world he's so great that they so dramatically shifted the balance of power that it made no sense to even pay attention to the NBA season. That's it. That was the day that LeBron James gave a concession speech in Boston and when they won the Eastern Conference Finals. Remember, I think it was Doris Burke that asked. I'm trying to remember who it was, but I think it was Doris Burke. They asked him. He was all happy. Everybody was happy. Cleveland was celebrating and stuff like that. And then they said, all right, you got Kevin Durant. I just want to enjoy the moment right now. I don't even want to think about that kind of stress. It was a concession speech before the damn finals even began because he knew that the Splash Brothers getting that brother, Kevin Durant, it was just unfair to the rest of the world, okay? So, Chris Canty, I get where you're coming from. I appreciate it, and I ain't got no problem with your opinion because the bottom line, damn it, if I got a license to debate you on football, you got a right to debate me on basketball. But you lost this one, my brother. You lost. You cannot find 10 dudes as a talent. I ain't talking resume. As a basketball talent, you cannot find 10 dudes on the planet in the history of basketball that you can definitively say is better than Kevin Durant. That is ridiculous, and if you say otherwise, I'm going to ask ESPN to immediately drug test you.
It depends on how he wins the title, Molly, because we've already been established that Kevin's not allowed to just win. He's got to win like leading the troops into battle. He's got to be like Braveheart, on a horse. Like,
well, ain't nobody on Houston capable of leading.
Well, I'm just saying.
Now this is getting ridiculous, though.
What is ridiculous?
Stop it. It's a guy, Kevin Durant.
He's got to win a certain way.
Well, that's what people say. That's what people say. Well, that's not what I said. That's what people say.
But these people need to be quiet then. And
That's
I don't usually get involved in these conversations.
Molly, get involved.
Let him win a title however he wins a title. Now it's not going to be a certain way.
But that's what they say. That's why this question is here.
Yes.
Everybody says that. They go riding in the back or whatever. No, that's why. Does he win a title?
That's not fair. Stop moving the goalpost. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. People always move the goalposts on him. So I'm saying it's not just good enough for him to win. People are going to say that. So that's why I'm mocking the concept.
Okay, good. What's Cooper Flagg's ceiling as a pro?
I don't think he has one, Molly. I mean, we could argue. I think he probably safely ends up all NBA at some point in his career, maybe consistently. That could be first, second, or third. That basically acknowledges being a top 15 player. But I can go further. I mean, there's no reason to say he couldn't be an MVP of the league. But you look at Shai Gilgeous, nobody thought he was going to be the MVP of the league. Certainly Jokic getting drafted in the second round, nobody dreamed he'd even be an all-star, let alone MVP. Giannis was taken in the mid-first, MVP. All these guys. Steph Curry was 7. I mean, to say he can't be MVP, I think is irresponsible. Will he be? I don't know, but he certainly can be. The ceiling is that. It's a champion, it's MVP, the finals, it's all these things. His game really has room to grow. As good as he is now, he can even become better.
The crazy thing about the draft is it's the lifeblood of building a team. Teams spend years leading up to picks and millions of dollars, and they try everything under the sun to identify the best players, and it's still inexact. So that's what's so maddening and so important about tonight. When I see Cooper Flagg and the people that I talk to, I think of a guy who's got an incredibly high floor. Like, he is the modern NBA player because he can play all these different positions, he can handle, he can shoot. And the most important thing to me, he's got a 7-foot wingspan, so he can defend multiple positions, but he wants to defend. We don't see 18-year-olds very often, especially talented star players who come into the league wanting to defend. In fact, I would almost say, for me, that's what makes me the most excited about him, is that his coach is not going to have to try to sell him on defending. His ceiling, to me, is unclear. I don't know what his ceiling is going to be, and that's a compliment. But what makes me excited about him is I am sure he's going to be successful. Yeah. His floor is so high.
I think that to that point, it's not hard to imagine him winning. He's won at a high level, and he does everything. You talk about defense. Why do you guys play defense? Well, they want to win, right? Defense is half the game. If you don't play defense, to me, that kind of says you don't really want to win that bad because you're letting your guy go by you. You're not rotating. You're not rebounding. This guy does all the things that are required to win, and I think that's why teams were so excited to get him. And the Dallas Mavericks, a lot of times the number 1 pick gets drafted by the Mavericks, and that family, that agent, that player, if they're being honest, goes, we can't develop there. We're not going to play. This guy will play anywhere. Why? Like you said, plays defense, helps you win, does all the little things, and can score, and has got great size, and has got a good mental game, and does quite a bit of things.
I think the floor is greatness. At minimal, he's going to be that. But I think the thing that I love and I'm excited most about him, I point to the marketing aspect when I saw him in college and Cooper Flagg, and they had the American flag behind him. This dude is going to be a marketing whiz. And if you have the kind of mentality where you're playing defense and you can be fiery, you're demanding excellence from the people around you, which we were joking about earlier, right? We were talking about LeBron, et cetera. What people have to understand is that when you are the face of a franchise, when you're going to be drafted number 1, when you have that kind of hope attached to you, and all the necessary parts or necessary ingredients are perceived as something you possess, not just your game, but your focus, your attitude, that it factor, folks rally around you. And when that happens, the people around you have to be accountable. Otherwise, they're going to bounce out of there because you'd face. And you're the one that the people are going to rally behind. And you can make everybody in the villains if they don't toe the line and do what's necessary. When I think about what I want as the face of a franchise, I want that. Because I know if you're committed to winning, and you're the same kind of galvanizing force that rallies the public to support you, folks around you that ain't like-minded are not going to be tolerated. And that, to me, is how you win. Steph Curry did that. Because people don't talk about that enough. Steph Curry is the greatest shooter and blah, blah, blah. Lovable. You're not going to get anyone to go against Steph Curry. So when you roll up in there, I remember when my man Raymond Ritter, you know him very, very well, he's sitting up there one day and I'm looking to talk to one of the players. And one of the players he had another interview. And they said, is 30 okay with that? We got to check with him. And he said, coach. And he said, management. They said 30. Because guess what? Steph Curry is going to say whether it's all right or not. And you have to make sure it was all right with him. That particular day I'm just talking about. I'm just saying stuff like that matters. It's important. And I think Cooper Flagg got that potential.
And speaking of Dallas, Stephen A., I thought this was interesting. You said a fully healthy Dallas team would be the biggest threat to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yes.
To that you say what, Bob?
I hate saying stuff that makes you look like you know what you're talking about. I mean,
You mean like you always agree throughout the year? I mean, that's what it is, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
You know
look.
what I'm saying? Listen, first of all, the cat's out the bag, okay? You know why? Because I got your ass up at 10 o'clock in the morning to come on first.
I know you did.
So, you know, I mean, everybody knows.
I know.
Cat's out the bag, but cat's out the bag, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I want to see a healthy Kyrie Irving. I think anybody likes basketball wants to see that because when they had, well, look, they now have a guy. I don't know what you would say. I'm curious what you guys. Where is Cooper Flagg right now? As far as is he a top 50 player in the league right now? Is he a top 30? Is he top 25?
I got to see him play a game.
I know, but he's in the conversation.
Let's not crown him.
No, I know. I'm just saying, but the top 50, you know, you could say that and it wouldn't be crazy.
The big thing about him is he's only going to make $14 million in the next few years. And in this environment where every dollar counts because you're worried about the apron, if you get a star-level player making this type of money the next 4 years, you have a window, like with a quarterback getting drafted on his rookie contract, you have a window to really build around.
You guys really dodged my question there.
No, I haven't answered it. Okay, let's say he's a top 1, 2, 3 center in the league.
Yeah.
Okay, I think a lot of people, that's not something you'd argue too much about. Then you got Klay Thompson who can still make shots. You've got a very deep team. PJ Washington, they just signed Gafford. They got a lot of guys that can help them. And Kyrie Irving. People forget how great he was last year. I mean, his numbers were unbelievable. Efficient and scoring. And you give, if it's true, and I don't know if it's true, I don't know if you know, if he's actually coming back in January.
Well, I mean,
Or
we
February.
hope.
Or even March. If you get him, Molly, and you've got that team going to the playoffs, I can tell you this, nobody wants to play that tean.
Fair enough.
NBA